Now, ladies and gentlemen, the best cheap, best looking, and best feeling budget knives inside Counter-Strike Global Offensive in 2023. Now, this series unexpectedly blew up out of nowhere and is my most successful on my entire YouTube channel. If I had to guess, it's based around the fact that people don't want to spend thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on an in-game item specifically for a knife inside CSGO. And well, this series pretty much covers that for you. The best cheap knives usually range from $1 to $6, maybe even $700 on this series. In the past year, I've had to recreate it about 4 or 5 times because prices have shifted and changed so much. At the very beginning of 2022, we were seeing knives that are now in the $300 to $400 category, which is just absolutely crazy. And with that being said, this is most likely going to be a bi-weekly series, and when prices changes again, we'll be sure to update it. A lot of different options to choose from, and we will be using buff prices.
Today's video sponsor is, of course, SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a place where you can buy or instantly trade your CSGO skins for some new flashy ones. It has a modern and easy to use layout with multiple different filters, and if needed, it has a 24/7 live chat support team. All you have to do is make sure you have your trade link, and on your first trade, if you have a leftover balance, it goes towards your current balance, which can be used when you end up trading skins. If there's a skin you really want and don't have enough for it, there's an option where you can top up your balance, and if you deposit with cash, you get a 35% deposit bonus, which is very nice. This holiday season, SkinsMonkey is offering one of the best deals I've ever seen across any single trading website. They've prepared free gifts for everyone. Christmas has come early. Now, as soon as you go on, you can get one of 3 things. You can get a completely free CSGO skin of really any single value, a 45% deposit bonus, which is 10% more than normal, being a 35 usually, or of course a free balance on the site, which can be used to any item you want to trade for. The first gift is free, and others are unlocked through the trading website.
Number 1. Our very first option up here just looks absolutely amazing, especially with even default gloves inside CSGO. That is, of course, no other than the Gut Knife Autotronic for $100. Now, the only bad part about a lot of these different knives, including this one, is the float, and specifically it's going to be extremely high, but it's obviously in battle scarred. Luckily, with the Autotronic, it doesn't age and wear too much. It only shows kind of dirt and a little bit of black, and it's kind of fading a little bit on the skin itself, more so affected by lighting than actual wear itself. So for an example, on a slaughter on a bayonet, right? If you were to get this in minimal wear, even a decent float closer to factory new, there's going to be a lot of wear on it, and you don't want to see that on a skin. Or something that gets affected by lighting is just a lot better. And this is where this is going to probably get most people's attention. Number 2 is already changing it up to the Paracord Urban Mast minimal wear for $98. Now, the Paracord, not the most favorite knife, including myself, not the most favorite inside CS, but it does look pretty good. The white, especially with these gloves, the big game gloves that I have in game, look so beautiful, and these gloves really aren't that expensive. I would say they're the most budget option gloves, especially the sports gloves area inside of Counter-Strike, which is pretty insane, but they are getting a little more popular as time goes on from people like myself and others on social media, showing new crafts. It's grabbing other people's attention towards them. You can also rock this with something like the Nox, a budget pair of gloves, or even the default ones. It actually looks pretty good, but that is not the cheapest knife on today's list. Number 3 is the Gut Knife Tiger Tooth Factory New for $99. Very similar to the Paracord Urban Mast. This looks absolutely amazing with the big game gloves, orange on orange. You can also rock this with the Omegas. You can really rock this with any kind of setup you got going in your inventory. It just looks super clean, and this was once a knife that was in the $80 to $90 range, and surprisingly, it shot up almost over $100. And I wouldn't be so surprised if in the next few months we see this and a lot of these other knives on this list go past and above and beyond the prices you see today. Number 4 is the Survival Blue Steel minimal wear for $100. The Survival knife is, in my opinion, heavily underrated. The pull-out animation is by far the most unique, especially for that price, and that's really what you're going to be paying for with this knife, is the actual pull-out animation, not so much the skin itself. I think the Survival knife versus something like the Ursus kind of lacks a lot in different areas, but there's a big hole in the blade. Some people don't like that. I'm not the biggest fan, but the pull-out animations, especially for maybe an opper or pulling down after an AK spray, is just so satisfying, and I just really enjoy that. Number 5 is going back to the Paracord, but specifically this is going to be the Nightstripe field tested for $90. This is a very good budget option. Some of you are going to be surprised that this is some sort of Nightstripe. The Nightstripe knives inside CS are not on every single knife. It's on, I believe, the classic knife, including this and a couple others, including the Ursus, but it looks very similar to a vanilla knife inside of Counter-Strike, and we all love that, especially because vanilla knives are becoming somewhat pretty expensive nowadays, which is pretty crazy to think about. Number 7 is extremely similar to the Survival knife, but this is no other than the Ursus Knife Safari Mesh field tested for $82. The Ursus knife is one of my favorite knives in the entire game. Of course, the pull animation is nice, but you're mainly getting this for this skin on it. The problem with CSGO this past year is skins are becoming so expensive. You can buy such a nice skin on such a budget knife, and this is exactly what this does, but it's slowly but surely moving its way up. Not that long ago, you could buy a tiger tooth on this for $250. Obviously, this is no tiger tooth, but it looks decent for what this is. You can also get a vanilla for not that much more. And if you want to go with the Ursus, I would highly suggest you just wait until the $200 or $300 series comes out, because you'll probably find the best options in there. Number 8 is the Huntsman, but specifically the the rust coat. This is battle scarred for $72. This is by far the cheapest knife on this entire list for very good reason. It looks the most rusty. That was a horrible joke, I know. But it's pretty nice. Honestly, for what this is, it's not too bad. If you go up a little bit or lower in float even, it gets more rusty and it looks better for some. And it actually goes very well with something like the big games or something other, like just even a vanilla knife. It goes just very well with a default inventory because it is kind of dark. And for $72, you really can't go wrong, especially with the Huntsman. The blade is ginormous. Number 9 is sadly the most crap knife in all of CSGO history, that being the Navaja. Now, but the good thing about the Navaja, on this side of the board anyway, you're getting a Tiger Tooth factory new on this for $81, when you're going to be paying $100 for something that has a safari mesh rust coat or something absolutely trash on something that's just a little bit better of a knife. So if you want to sacrifice price and you want to sacrifice the knife, this is definitely the one to go for. This is a very extreme, great budget option. The crappy part about this is, of course, the pullout is extremely lacking here, but for $81, I mean, you really can't complain. You're getting a knife, let alone a Tiger Tooth skin on this. And that leads us into number 10. Number 10 is the butt plugs, otherwise known as the Shadow Daggers Vanilla, for $89. Now, I have a lot of problems with the Shadow Daggers, but I gotta say, with these gloves, the Nox, the defaults, it looks extremely well with any sort of budget tier gloves. The only problem I have with it is it shakes your crosshair, as you can see on screen when you pull these things out, and I'm not a big fan of that. Now, does it mess up your accuracy? Who really knows at the end of the day? But they're definitely unique, and you'll probably stand out quite a bit when you're playing CS because they look so good for such a budget option. And this is one of the only vanilla knives you'll be able to afford on this list, for $100 anyway and under. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of this tier list. Once again, this is more for a pickup, but also I guess can be used for somewhat of an investment. When I started this series, none of this was for an investment. It was just for people wanting a cheap knife that has a different pull animation, because it does change the way you play CS sometimes. Makes it a little more refreshing if you have a different knife rather than the default one. And if we look at anything this past year, all the different series we did for the best cheap knives, we've done I think 3 or 4 of them. All the knives in the $100 category have gone up quite a bit, more than I would ever see and would have thought to see than any other year inside CS. And I think the same is probably going to happen this year as well. Only time will tell. Let me know what you guys think. Stay positive, 60. I'm out, guys. Peace.